Hi everyone, this is Krishna Mulagupati. I am working as assistant professor in EEE department, St. Peter's Engineering College. So in this video, I am going to explain single phase half-wave control rectifier with RL load. In the last video, we have seen half-wave control rectifier with R load, and these are the waveforms that we drawn for R load. The same waveform that I am modifying for RL load. We'll see how the modification takes place when we change the load from R load to RL load, and we are going to take one RL load circuit along with the power processing unit, RL load, and input supply. That is, input supply is nothing but single phase supply. So when we feed single phase supply to that particular power processing unit, we can say that is single phase half control rectifier, and based on the load at the output side of the power processor, will decide whether the load is R load, RL load, or RL load. So here in this we are taking RL load. So draw the circuit like this. Start with the source. Start with source, right? Like this. Take one transformer. What is the other name for this one? What is the type of transformer is? Isolated transformer. This is isolated transformer, and we can say both N1 and N2 are equal. N1 and N2 are equal. N1 is equal to N2. Isolated transformer. Suppose it is giving primary winding is giving 220 volts, then this is also having the 220 volt like this. So other side we are connecting one thyristor, our SCR, the gate terminal. This is anode, this is cathode, and voltage drop across device is PT. I am calling the thyristor is T. Then I am connecting output of this thyristor is to one RL load. So this is my output I know, and I have output voltage V0. This is RL. This total is called load. This is called load. Okay. And the ratings of input supply. Single phase 220 volt 50 hertz AC supply. Single phase 220 volt 50 hertz AC supply. This is my circuit. So the circuit involves one isolated transformer, one thyristor because it is half-wave control rectifier, and a RL load. Okay. So now we are going to see the operation of this circuit configuration, right? So we are going to see the changes that are occurring in the waveforms when we change the load from R load to RL. Okay, don't get confused. Listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. If you are getting any doubt, you can put a questions. All these things to me directly. Right? See this. First, we'll see my input supply is alternating quantity. My input supply is alternating quantity. Positive half cycle is applied, and I am calling this terminal is M, this terminal is N. Right? When we apply positive half cycle to the circuit, then this will become plus, this will become minus. This will become plus, M will be plus, N will be minus. Then current is coming like this, entering into N. What is the path of current to flow? M, T, RL load, then N, and back to M. This is the current path when you use the positive half cycle of the supply. And what we say here, alpha. This is the alpha value, means firing angle. Firing angle means it is defined as it is an instant at which the SR in conducting state comes in conducting state, right? So after alpha only it's going to be on. Okay, see this very important factor, very important element is there in the load side. Okay, so now we are going to analyzing this inductor behavior. What is the property of inductor? Inductor is a storing element. First one, inductor is a storing element. Second one, it cannot allow the sudden change in current. It cannot allow, it does not allow the sudden change in current. Then what happened here? Still the positive half cycle, still the supply is available, it stores the energy, stores the energy. If the supply is not available, it delivers the energy to the circuit. So that is the concept is going on in case of inductor. So other property, first of all, it stores the energy when the supply is available to that. When the supply is not available, it is becoming active source to the circuit. The other property is doesn't allow the sudden change in current. These two things are very important regarding to inductor. Okay. Now what happened is, during this condition, output voltage, we are getting output voltage from alpha to pi because of input supply. Because of input supply. Then afterwards, what happened is, this is called extension angle beta. Extension angle beta. Because our thyristor immediately comes back to forward blocking state once the positive half cycle reaches to 0. But what happened here is, because of inductor in the output side, it is going to be delivering its stored energy during the negative half cycle of the input supply. At that time, what happened is, output side voltage, initially what happened is, this is the plus minus, when the positive half cycle is available, we can say this is plus, this is minus, simply. The polarities across inductor is plus and minus. Polarities across resistance also plus minus. Once positive half cycle is over, then automatically what happened? The polarities across the inductor will change. The polarities across the inductor will change, reverse. Means what happened? This will be minus, this will be plus. As I said, it doesn't allow the sudden change in current. Doesn't allow the sudden change in current, not voltage. Please remember. That's why what happened. So initially, when it is charging mode, when it is having the input supply, it stores the energy with these polarities, plus minus. When the supply is not available, immediately the polarities of the inductor will be changed, interchanged, and this will become positive, this will become negative, and delivers the current in the same direction. Delivers the current in the same direction, but polarities across the load will be reversed. Polarities across the load will be reversed. Okay, means what? Our thyristor is going to be on up to beta value. This I am saying beta. This I am saying not beta. You can say conduction angle gamma. It is conduction angle gamma. This is beta. Extension angle beta. From 0 to pi plus beta is nothing but beta. I am simply calling that as a beta. 0 to this value is beta. From alpha to beta is nothing but gamma. That I am taking like that. So gamma is extension angle, beta gamma is conduction angle, beta is extension angle, right? So what happened here is, after positive half cycle completing, during the negative half cycle comes into action, still our thyristor is in conducting state, instead of turned off, instead of bring back to the forward blocking state, it is still continuing it action as on state, because of this inductor works there as a source. as a source, the inductor acting as and producing, providing the current in the circle, in the circle. That's why we are getting like this, right? And when we see the current waveform, this we can say, after that we will see negative half cycle first. After we will draw the current waveform, it's very easy to understand. Then after once negative half cycle comes, what will happen here? So after this portion, there is no voltage across the thyristor. Look at this, how that is going to be changed, right? So voltage across thyristor, what happened? Up to beta, there is no voltage across thyristor because our thyristor is in conducting state, right? Here also same thing. We'll see that later on. Okay, up to this point, right? For the negative half cycle, there is no conduction of thyristor. After that, inductor becomes discharge its current values, right? Again this is going on. Then here also same thing for the second cycle, and so we'll discuss about the here the current. As we said, it does not allow the sudden change in current, right? So now what happened is, the nature of the shape of currents are going to be not same as voltages, we'll see that. Okay, let us see. During this portion, thyristor is not conducting, doesn't allow the current to flow. After that, what happened? It is allows the current in this manner, right? Means inductor stored the energy, and reduce up to beta. Inductor stores the energy up to pi. Thereafter, it releases the current to in the circuit. That's why we are getting like this. After that, what happened? There is no current to flow. Still, next alpha 2 pi plus alpha. Then again, current is flowing. Means allow the current to flow like this. So we can say both I naught and IS. See the change that we are getting when we use the different loads from R load to RL load, how the waveforms are changed, right? So now we have to take the definitions. So three definitions, three angles that we can see in this case. Those are first one is firing angle, second one is extinction angle, third one is conduction angle. For these three, we need to take the definitions. Okay, first we know that firing angle definition, it is an instant air the SAR comes into conduction state is nothing but the firing angle. And coming to conduction angle, it is defined as the angle during the period in which SCR is in conducting state. See this here, what we call it is an instant. This is the instant where the conduction takes place in the circuit. See this, from alpha to beta, there is a conduction takes place. That what we call this duration is nothing but conduction angle. And when we see this extinction angle is nothing but from 0 to some value, some duration, what we call extinction. It is defined as the angle measured from the reference point. Means 0 is the reference point over here, and to the reference point to the instant at which the current extinguishes. This is the point, instant where the current is going to be 0. Means, so this is the reference point and this is the current is going to be 0. In between duration, what we call, this is extinction angle. So there are three terms very clearly given: firing angle, conduction angle, and this extinction angle. Next we'll discuss one more is circuit turn-off time. circuit turn off time means whenever the output is not available. Very clear. Circuit turn off time means what? It is a duration when the output is not available. So output is not available up to what? This is the portion you can say omega Tc. Portion omega Tc. How do you say that? How do you say that? Right. Look at this. This is beta. This is beta. Then 2 pi plus alpha. This is 2 pi plus alpha. Okay. I'm writing over here. Omega Tc is equal to upper limit is 2 pi plus alpha. 2 pi plus alpha. Okay. Look at this. Look at this. This is the reference point. This is the some instant where the current is going to be 0. That's why we do not take 2 pi plus alpha over here. So we have to take 2 pi. So this portion is already covered over here. This portion is already covered over. So this portion won't comes into circuit turn off time. That's why we are not taking that alpha. Okay. Then this is 2 pi minus beta. 2 pi minus beta. What is that? This is the total amount of beta value. This total amount of beta value. This is the beta portion, beta instant, and this is the portion we have to consider for the circuit turn off time. This is the circuit turn off time. You have to take down this only because this portion is already covered over here. This portion is already covered just before the values. Thereby, what happened? Upper limit is 2 pi, lower limit is beta. Then we can say omega Tc. Tc is equal to 2 pi minus beta by omega. Am I clear? So circuit turn off time is 2 pi minus beta upon omega. So next we will see expressions. Actually what happened is there are two types of operations that we can able to see in case of RL load. Continuous mode of operation, discontinuous mode of operation. Two things are there. Continuous mode, discontinuous mode will be decided by the designing of inductor. Inductor design is decides the whether the operation is in a continuous mode or discontinuous mode. So two things are there. We'll see the expressions for both the continuous and discontinuous. Okay. See here one more thing that we have to discuss the relation between alpha, beta, gamma. Relation between alpha, beta, gamma. Okay. See this? I am taking this gamma. Gamma is nothing but upper limit is beta, lower limit is alpha. Very simple. Upper limit is beta, lower limit is alpha. Then when we write this one for beta, beta is nothing but alpha plus gamma. This is very important bit when we go for competitive exams. Okay, please remember this relation between. So once you observe the waveforms very clearly, it's very easy to get the relation between alpha, beta, gamma. It's very clearly given over here. So no issue. So to take the relation among these three angles, right? We'll see first one expressions. First one is average DC load voltage. Average DC load voltage. So we know that one basic equation, that is VAG is equal to 1 by T integral 0 to T Vs d omega t. This is the equation that basically we are using in calculating the average output voltages at the output side, right? Then when you apply for this one for our circuit operation, this will become 1 by 2 pi. My total time period is 2 pi from this to that, and conduction takes place between the instants alpha to beta. Conduction takes place between the alpha to beta. Okay, this is called discontinuous mode, and I am taking directly Vm sin omega t d omega t. So for this, after applying some trigonometric methods, we'll get one equation for this V average for discontinuous mode of operation, that is Vm by 2 pi Vm by 2 pi Vm by 2 pi of cos alpha minus cos beta, cos alpha minus cos beta. This for discontinuous mode. When we use beta is equal to, in this equation, beta is equal to pi plus alpha. When you use beta is equal to pi plus alpha, what is that pi plus alpha? This is pi, this is the pi portion. Just to add this portion means this portion alpha, pi plus alpha. So this pi plus alpha is indicating what? Beta. Means beta value and alpha value both there. If you replace that beta with respect to this pi plus alpha, it is for discontinuous operation. So when we keep beta equal to pi plus alpha, V average will be, next we'll say V average will be Vm by pi cos alpha. See the difference between the continuous operation and discontinuous operation. In the discontinuous operation, we are getting cos alpha minus cos beta upon 2 pi. But what happens in case of continuous? Vm upon pi cos alpha we are getting. So much difference is there. Please remember very carefully this case. And coming to second one, average load current. Average load current. Average load control. You have to tell me at the end of this class what is the disadvantage of this circuit. Based on the disadvantages, we are going to discuss the next topic. Next topic will be the same configuration, same RL load that we are going to use, but apart from the RL load at the output side, we are going to keep one diode across the load. Why we are going to use the diode across the load? Because of the advantage to overcome the disadvantage of this circuit. You'll see that. So I need to answer for that question at the end of this class. We'll see current over here. V average is equal to, simply we write Vm, we'll take this one first, Vm 2 pi R, simply it's a raised to nature. So when we take transient analysis, when we know the idea about transient analysis, simply we are getting the values for current like this. Cos alpha minus cos beta. It is for a discontinuous mode. The same thing is for continuous, is Vm upon pi into R cos alpha. You simply substitute alpha values and beta values in this case. In this case itself, just you substitute alpha value, you will get the output currents and output voltages. Right? Now next we'll see RMS values of output current and output voltage. Okay, we'll see RMS values. This is third one. RMS value of load voltage. RMS value of load voltage. Very simple. So I am taking over here Vrms is equal to 1 by 2 pi, right, of, sorry, 1 by 2 pi integral alpha to beta Bm square sin square omega t d omega t under root so this is under root Vrms square, no? So when we see the Pythagoras theorem, in Pythagoras theorem we have one equation over there. So with that Vrms square is equal to something. So when we bring that square value to this side, this will become 1 by 2, right? So after simplifying all these things, after simplifying using different trigonometric methods, we are getting equation. Final equation is Vm square by Vm square upon 4 pi Vm square upon 4 pi beta minus alpha okay. So these are the things that we are getting. Beta minus alpha minus of minus 1 by 2 of sin 2 beta minus sin 2 alpha sin 2 beta minus sin 2 alpha, right? Then one bracket for this, so whole bracket, then we are getting like this 1 by 2. So somewhat difficult to remember this type of equations, but after doing proper simplifications using trigonometric methods, here we can easily obtain this one, right? Thereafter RMS load current, okay. Simply this is, I am just bringing this one outside. I am calling this as a IRMS. Simply I am bringing this one outside, then by Vm by this 4 also once come out, it will become 2 under root pi. Very simple. I am just bringing out this term to the outside of this total bracket and keeping the same bracket and including R over here, right? This will become IRMS. There is a difference between VRMS and IRMS. Then simply write all things same. Minus 1 by 2 of sin 2 beta minus sin 2 alpha, right? And then root. So these are the things to be remembered for the calculation of VRMS, IRMS and VAG, IAG. So with the help of this thing, can we calculate input power factor, input supply power factor? Input supply power factor is nothing but cos phi power delivered to the load, that is VRMS IRMS upon VS IRMS. Both VS and IRMS either sides are same. So same we will get same output, input power factor as same as the R load, right? So these are the things. Okay, finally, so what is the disadvantage of this circuit? What is the disadvantage of this circuit? Look at this. It's very clear. This is my voltage. Voltage is in positive side. Positive voltages are available up to pi value. This is my positive current. Up to pi I am getting positive currents, and up to pi plus alpha also it is positive current but decaying manner. Don't think that it is a negative value. It is a positive itself, but it is decaying manner. But what happened in this case, we can see two values. One is positive value and the other one is negative value. So that's the problem of this circuit. So we are getting two values. Due to this value, what happened is average output power is going to be reducing. Average output power is reducing, hence losses increasing. Hence losses increasing means what? Efficiency, rectifier efficiency is going to be reduced. Rectifier efficiency is reducing by using only RL load for the half-wave control rectifier. Then what we have to do? Only option is just we have to avoid this portion, negative portion, where the inductor is going to be releasing its energy, stored energy during negative half cycle of input supply. Okay, when we avoid this value at the output side itself, then immediately what happens is this portion will be overcome over here. Then the average load voltage improved. Average load voltage improved. We will get only positive values, so that efficiency, power delivered to the load increases. Hence, the rectifier efficiency will be improved. So, using one freewheeling diode at the output side across the load, you can able to clip out this portion, negative portion of the output voltage. It's very easy to get the improvement in rectifier circuit. We'll see that one in the next video. Thank you.